Welcome to the Obsessed With podcast. We are your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We've been together since 2007, and we are the co-founders of Travcest.
And we've also been full-time travelers since 2012.
That's right, crazy.
Which is insane. Join us here as we pull back the curtain with fun, juicy, and honest conversations. We're gonna dive into all the things that you might be navigating too, like figuring out how to add more travel and adventure into your life, which PS, this is our specialty, navigating big transitions, relationships and marriage, deciding whether or not kids fit into the picture in your 40s, and most importantly, how to create a life of freedom on your own terms.
Consider this podcast your official permission slip to unapologetically do life your way and be able to change your mind a million times along the way and know that you are not alone.
Our goal with this podcast is to create a fun, zero judgment, happy hour style space where we can all just hang out, have real conversations, and navigate all the life things together.
So grab a drink, settle in, and let the obsession begin.
Woo!
Welcome to the Obsessed With podcast. We're your hosts, Kim and Aaron, and it is Tuesday, so it is another Obsessed With Travel Tuesday. I'm really excited because we were talking and I have a question for Kim and we will see what her answer is. I'm just kind of excited to see what she says and also where this conversation goes. So it's based off of our 13 years of travel and just something specific about that to see where she's at.
You're being so secretive, incognito.
Well, I want to see what you say.
Okay.
Spontaneous.
As always, please share this episode on social with a friend, anybody that you think could get value from these episodes. We really appreciate that. And to take literally less than 1 minute to leave us a review if you listen on Apple Podcasts. I don't think that you can leave reviews on other platforms.
Spotify, I'm not sure.
I don't think so. But if you listen on Apple, that means so much to us. Literally, it will take you less than a minute. And it helps us grow this show and blow up this show. And we hope that you're getting value and you're having fun with the show because we're having a lot of fun doing it. So let's do it.
Let's go. Okay, so true or false? We've been traveling for 13 years.
True.
True. Good. Okay. True or false? Your name is Kim.
False.
What is it?
Boo.
Okay. That's very true. Our nieces and nephews don't even know Kim's first name.
Yeah, they're like, who's Kim?
Yeah, who's Kim?
Like,
We even asked that. Who's Kim?
I know.
Yeah, funny.
It's actually jarring when somebody calls me Kim.
I've done it in these podcasts.
Yeah, and I'm like, it freaks me out because I think my mom calls me Kimberly. My sister calls me Kim. But other than that, people don't call me by my name. Well, I guess actually everybody does. All on our trips and stuff, everybody. So I guess it's just you. Okay, just you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we do spend a lot of time together, so it does feel like everybody.
I don't call you Aaron.
It's very true.
If I do, it's weird.
It's very true.
Okay.
Anyway,
Aaron,
okay, so in 13 years of travel, we've had magical moments, great memories. I feel like there's no other way I would want to live.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, what do you think the 13 years of travel has caused us to lack the most in our lives?
Oh, God. I mean, there's so much. No.
Really?
No, I don't actually really think that. I think now I feel it. Different things are popping up because we're in a different phase of life. I'm like, okay, well, stability, right? But before, we never gave a flying F about stability. We were having the time of our lives. Now I'm kind of like, I want more stability, you know, because we're getting up there.
Yeah.
But I never used to feel like that. I think we were just talking about this too the other day at dinner with our friends.
So maybe that's why the question was in my head. Wow. Okay.
And actually, a couple different times. But when we went to a New Year's Eve dinner
Mm-hmm.
And our friends, Derek and Jessica, invited us with like their group of friends. So we didn't know some of the people. And we were talking to this couple, and we were both, they moved to Denver not that long ago. And we had that in common where we were both saying how we're like in a place in our life where we're really wanting to create more community and have community in our life. And that's something we talk about all the time, right? And I think that community, have a community, blah, blah, blah. But I think with traveling, I feel like we have friends everywhere. Like we can get in a car and we can like drive across the country and stop at different places, and there will be somebody there we could have dinner with or meet up with, whatever. But I feel like the depths of friendships as a traveler it's really hard to build and create these deeper friendships, because like when we lived in Florida working full time before we started traveling, it's like every Sunday we would do like Sunday fun day with our friends. We'd get on our bikes and we'd go to all the beach bars and we would hang out at our friend's house, and we would go to my sister's on the weekend for a barbecue. And it's like you're doing these things every week, and you're like just building on these friendships. But as travelers, we don't see each other all the time. Because like you live somewhere, you meet a couple people, like, wow, I really like them. But then you're like off to the next place. So you're not really able to build friendship. Does that make sense?
So is that your answer? Friendships?
Yeah, I think it's the consistency of having like your community and friends where you are in each other's lives, like quote unquote normal, right? Like how normal people are like, we have Friday dinners with so-and-so. Like Sundays, we go to the farmer's market or we do brunch. Like people
go for a hike.
They have things that they do continuously with their people. And I feel like we haven't had that, because the nature of us always freaking bopping around the world.
So I will say there is some beauty to the fact that if you and I were in a place that we enjoyed couch surfing, we could most likely not pay for a hotel driving from Florida all the way to Washington.
Yeah.
Because of all the friends that we have, quote unquote. So I guess if you're going a little deeper, being that we have friends, but we're realizing that we don't have the depth. Hey, real quick, we hope you're loving today's episode, and we wanted to take a moment to keep you in the loop. If you work in healthcare, or you're a healthcare traveler, or you know someone who works in healthcare and is interested in fun adventure travel, you've got to know about our Travcess adventure trips. And listen, we get it. Working in healthcare can feel really demanding, overwhelming, and stressful. We spend so much time taking care of others that we forget to take care of ourselves.
So let us take care of you on a Travcess trip. Once you sign up for a trip, we literally take care of everything. The planning, the logistics, and all the little details. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and make unforgettable memories with a group of like-minded, adventurous travel friends. This is your time to step away from the chaos, recharge, have some fun, and come back feeling like the best version of you. Everyone who comes on a Travcess trip says you come as strangers, leave as family. Literally. Travcess trips have sparked dozens of new friendships, adventure squads, and travel soulmates that last way beyond the trip.
And honestly, it's not about the places we go. It's about the amazing people you meet along the way. We personally plan every itinerary based on our own travel adventures, so we have been there, done that, and know all the best things to do and see that you would not find on your own. Plus, we've got some awesome local friends on the ground to help us make each trip extra fun, special, and totally unique. Our trips are for active adventurers who like to get out of their comfort zones and push their limits. And the best part? We keep our groups small and intimate so you can form real connections like really, really fast.
So if you're ready to ditch the planning stress, find your adventure crew, and travel like never before, head over to imtravsess.com and grab your spot on one of our next adventures.
That's imtravsessed.com.
Or you can send us a DM over on Instagram at Kim and Aaron G.
That is KIMANDERRANG.
Just DM us the word adventure and we can chat more about it. You can also find our Instagram, our website. Everything is linked in the show notes below. Also, at the time of this recording, we have 3 spots left to join us in Oaxaca, Mexico in 2025, which honestly is one of our favorite trips. Yeah. So you can head over to our website, check that out. And we also have so many more fun adventures coming your way in 2026.
We cannot wait to see you on one of our life-changing trips. Now let's dive back into the episode.
Yeah, like for instance, we're at the time of this recording, we're getting ready to get on a plane and we're flying to Seattle for the weekend to spend the weekend with our friends, Joe and Sarah and Adam and Aaron, people we absolutely love. And, you know, it's kind of become a thing now. I feel like the 6 of us try to get together like once a year. I mean, I'd love to get together more than that. But it's like, I'm so excited to go and spend the weekend with them and have that time with them. And we have the best talks. Like we have deep talks. Like we love food. We love hiking. I love my time with them. But Joe and Sarah live in Seattle. Adam and Aaron are travelers. They're on a contract in Portland right now. We're in Denver. So we'll go have this weekend and we might not see them again for 6 months, a year. Like just because of the nature of our lives. And I feel like, of course, you want to put more time in and see each other more of these relationships you deeply care about. But it's like when you don't live in the same place, it's not like, hey, like, let's go grab a coffee. Let's go grab dinner. Like how normal people live, you know?
Right. But I also think that we've kind of seen it here where we've said that we've lacked that. And I think one thing that has driven us to do what we do is the lack of community. And so we've tried to build that ourselves. And we've done a pretty darn good job because we see it on our Travis Says Adventure trips where people say that it's so nice to meet people in the same life area as you that like the same things, that travel the same way, that understand each other. But then again, you also come back to the reality of you just met on this trip, you're lifelong friends, but you're going to be in 2 different cities across the country from each other. And so then it takes a lot more effort. And I think there is a difference. And we've met some really cool people. I mean, Wisconsin sticks out. Wisconsin, when we were on a contract, these were people that lived in Janesville, Wisconsin, or surrounding areas that we had to ask them to stop throwing us going away parties because everybody wanted to throw one. That was a really good group of people that we surrounded ourselves with every weekend we could. But that was your second contract 11 years ago, and we've lost touch with those people, right? Like, because life moves on, and it's not that they're not friends, that we couldn't reconnect, but it's not going to be the depths of like what we're looking for now.
No. And even with our Travis Says trips, like I love like the friendships that are built from those trips and the connections and the people that we've met, right? Where I'm like, oh my God, like I love these people. Like, oh, I wish we lived near each other. Like, cause you get to know each other so quickly on these trips and you spend 2 weeks together. But then you like go back to your normal life and we're still like, it's not like, oh, we all live in Denver. Let's come back to Denver. And then we're like, we're getting dinner next week. Like so it's an interesting concept of you can have so many quote unquote friends, but I feel like, and again, it's all about the different phases and stages of life, right? And I feel like we are in this stage of just wanting deeper connection. So having like even just one couple that lives in the same city as you, which, we have to stay in one place for that to happen. But when that happens, that you just like do life together. Like you share in each other's lives. You see each other once a week. You go on a camping trip. You go hiking. You have dinners together. Like putting in those reps, right? Because I think friendships are reps. It's consistency. It's showing up. You have to put in the time. And we always say like, oh, we're going to do, Zoom calls because we're going to catch up with them and we're going to stay connected. And like, yeah, that's great. But honestly, like, I don't like doing Zoom calls, and I don't like, we're like not great about that either.
I don't enjoy it. I don't want to sit in front of a screen and
I'm like, I just want to like see you in person.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the thing with traveling is like, I'm really feeling that now of just, it's hard to keep up and build friendships with people when you just don't see each other all the time. And of course there's people that you and I like love and you don't see all the time, but like you get together and you just like, it's like you pick it right back up. Right. And I love that too, but I'm wanting more of that sharing of a life.
Totally. And I think just since we've been in Denver, like already, like the friend group that we've built here is something that I want to maintain. And I do think that like Derek said something at dinner, like they live out of the country for 6 months and then they come back to Denver. And he said, what I realized is, especially at our age, the time that I am here, I need to go double time into creating these relationships, because then when I'm gone for 6 months, it's like, oh, we've already built a solid friendship. So then it's exciting to come back and catch up, and then people come and visit us, and you're building that friendship, but you have to put more effort in if you're gone for longer periods of time. But that's also coming back to the fact that they know where they live.
Yeah,
right?
This is their home.
Right, where we're not guaranteed to live back in Denver, come back in May.
Well, right. And that's the hardest part of kind of what we're going through right now is like wanting that like deeply, right? Like wanting that settled nature of this is where we live. We're building a friend group and we're going to leave for 11 weeks because we're running Trav Says trips, but we're going to come back, right? And we're wanting that so deeply, but in this very moment, we're not sure what that's going to look like, right? We can't do that right now. I also feel like too, that trying to make friends in your 30s and 40s is way harder.
100%.
Is that true? Like you hear people say that, but I'm also like, and maybe it's because most people in their 30s and 40s are established. Like they have established friend groups, right? That then you feel like you're kind of breaking into. It's like harder to do that.
I agree.
Is that why? I don't know.
No, but I do think that there is obviously caveats to everything, because look at this friend group that we've met.
Yeah.
Like we had one New Year's Eve dinner with 6 other people we didn't know. And now we've had breakout sessions and dinners with those individual couples. We had one with Keisha, who now became our mentor, and Sina, and how cool that was to have one-on-one time with them. And now we're going on another dinner this week with another one of those couples from that dinner. So like, and we've had multiple dinners with Derek and Jessica, but they were our common denominator,
yeah.
right? And so that's been really cool to see that happened, instead of just going to dinner. We know Derek and Jessica, and that's where it ends, right? So we were able to break in. But I do think that there's a lot of different outside of like people have their steady jobs, they have kids, they are, and you just kind of don't have the commonality, the similarity. Because I think if you're a single couple, you have kids, then you start kind of morphing into more family groups, right? Where your kids can be involved, and you meet new people, and then you're stable, and your kids can grow up together. They can play soccer together. They can go to school together. And then you develop that friendship with the parents, right? And I think it kind of morphs in that way, whereas we are just ping-ponging all over the world.
So I also feel, going back to that dinner, I think, because when we're talking about meeting people in your 30s and 40s, most people are established, but everybody in this group are transplants. So I think that's also interesting, because they're not all like born, raised Denver, right? They have their friends, their family, they've all moved, right? Like New York City and I don't know, like all different, Austin, like just different places, right? So I feel like that's also something when you find, I feel like us like transplants, like kind of find each other because when you can find other people who are also like, yeah, we just moved here and we're looking for community and we're looking for friends and you have like that connection already, then it's like you can kind of build on that. I feel like that's like easier than when they're like, I'm born, raised, they've got like their tight crew. Like it's like harder to break into.
But I think too, like we hear it, that's a common thing. So when you were saying, is that really a thing in your 30s and 40s? That is a common denominator that we hear within our Travsets groups, that they have a tough time breaking into friend groups at this age. And I do think that you start to realize that as you get older, you have more things on your life plate. And so you have less time to put effort in. And people start shrinking their friend groups to, do we really want to spend time with this person or this couple or these people or not? Like, do they elevate us? Do they make us feel good? Do we enjoy our time? Because now it's worth spending the time and building that friendship group. And I think you start to shrink your friends as your life evolves and as more things come on your life plate.
Yeah.
And so at this age of 30 and 40, you're really getting into that realm, right?
Yeah.
Where you have less time to spend outside of your own life.
Right. That's true. And I think we have a unique thing too, because a lot of people our age have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of always like the odd man out, like, because we're like, we don't have that connection with other people, other parents, right? Because we don't have kids. So it's also, our lifestyle is very different. So, yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing, which I think where the Travsets trips come in is pretty cool because it's connecting like-minded people who are also travelers, who are also, bopping around, who also have more time, who also have more money and very similar lifestyles to one another. So then they're able to connect and then, spend more time together or take a contract together and kind of build the friendship, because there's already like a like-mindedness.
Well, I mean, and we saw two people that did not know each other, were in the same city, around each other, with a contract, drove together, met at a Cracker Barrel for a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Right? Because they had that commonality, they met on a trip. So you do have community. And I think as travelers, we are craving that. And I think we will make efforts to, as much as we can, to keep those relationships alive. And I do love that even in our WhatsApp groups, the groups become family. And then now they all compete to like rejoin on another trip or do something together in the United States or plan something. So it started that these people aren't just making like passive friendships. They're actually saying, I'm flying into New York and they know so-and-so that went on the trip lives in New York. So they're going to meet up and go out and like they're making efforts for each other. And I think that means a lot more, because if you weren't willing to make an effort for somebody, they didn't really have an impact. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing. But I also will lead into, I think as travelers too, what I've seen is it's harder to connect with your older friends. Do you think that's due to travel or do you think that's due to just getting older?
I think people can outgrow each other.
Yeah.
I think it's when people like grow and change, evolve, or just their life changes, right? So maybe you have, like in our situation, we go back home, we're the only ones without kids. Like our lives look very different, right? Where you still love each other and there's still all the memories and all the things, but like, do you really have a lot in common now? Like in our experience, no. And I think if you and I would have stayed in Jacksonville and we would have had kids and it's not like we would have fit right into that. Yeah. Right. But not that we're better or they're better, but our paths just went completely different directions. So, because we left and we were, traveling and like living in all these different places and meeting different people. And like, we're not the same people at all,
and so we've evolved. And I just feel like when people grow and evolve and change, you just naturally move away from certain friendships, create new friendships. Like, I don't know if it has to do with age. I think it just has to do with where you're at in life.
Well, I'd also
right?
say there is, again, it doesn't make anybody right or wrong. It just is the way it is. But I think as travelers, we evolve a lot faster, right? Because we're seeing new things, we're meeting new people, we're in different cultures, we see life differently, we evolve within our thought process and things like that. Whereas like when you go back home, for instance, it's almost like being stuck in the past, right? Like that's pretty much all you have because we haven't been there and bought the house and had the kids and kind of grown in that way. We've grown in a different way, which then the only thing you do have in common is the past. So it feels like you're going back in time. And that's a weird transition that I'm not really into anymore.
Yeah. Is
What?
your phone ringing?
No.
Oh. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. We talk about this a lot with other travelers too, of just how you feel like, and I don't even like saying outgrown because it almost puts this connotation of like, oh, we're just like better. And that's not at all what I'm saying. But you don't feel as much connected to the people that you were really like, the people you and I were really close with, when we left Jacksonville, and the people we spent time with every weekend, every day, like, there's not that much in common anymore.
We don't talk to them at all, really.
I know. Right.
That's kind of crazy.
Right. And it's like, I think it's just a natural progression. I think being around people that have similar interests and are on similar life paths, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I mean, that's why
I don't know.
I think it is just a natural progression of like, it is what it is. And I think what happens is we tend to want to hang on to that because it does feel this like contentious kind of thing of like, you're not saying that you're better than, or you've just outgrown it. Right.
So,
and it's a very weird conversation to have with like close friends where you're just like, we used to be really close, but now we're not. And that's okay. But I think that's a tough conversation that a lot of people...
I don't think you have to have the conversation. It's just a natural thing that happens.
So you just fade and that's it? And you just...
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think so.
All right.
Also, when you don't... never mind, I'll skip that. But how do you think people who are in their 30s and 40s meet people? Like... it's like we talk about like, oh, like dating, like, okay, how do you meet people? How do you meet your people? Or if you're not on an app, like people like want to meet people in the wild. Like, so same thing with friends, right? It's like, how do you meet people that could be your group of friends, know?
Similar interests. That is the beauty of social media, right? Like you do have like, you can go into a Denver hiking group.
Yeah.
Right? Like Denver Dinks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just, which is a really good group. I'm sure it's out there. Like
we should look it up.
Denver Dinks, like
we
cool.
should start it.
Right. But it's just like, okay, like these are people, dual income, no kids, like that want to do adventures and you just go and test it out, right? You test the waters. I think it's kind of like you never know until you go kind of thing. And you got to put yourself out there. And I think that's as the 30s and 40s, you got to put yourself out there more. And you just can't take one situation. You got to cultivate and you got to build. And you, like you said, it comes with reps, like making yourself available. Because I think it's easy also in your 30s and 40s to just be like, life's in the way. I don't feel like doing this and I'm just going to cancel. Right. And it's like, no, you actually have to make the effort, even when it could be a little bit more tough, to bring those in and develop those relationships and leave that lasting impression, which then you get feedback on yourself to be like, I really enjoyed that and I would like to make that more of a thing.
Yeah, I think you have to put yourself out there. Like, even when we did the New Year's Eve party where it was like a bunch of people we didn't know, and I was nervous and I almost didn't want to go because I'm like, oh, like to be honest, I don't really feel like going and being around a bunch of people I don't know. I'm not really in the mood to make small talk and make conversation up or have to tell the same story over and over again, because you kind of like when you're getting to know people, right? Like, oh, like, where are you from? You know, and it's like, it starts all those kinds of conversations. And I wasn't really in the mood for it. And I was almost like kind of in a bad mood of like, I don't really want to go. And I kept like trying to talk you out of it. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to just stay home? We can just, you know, pop some bubbles.
Because you drink champagne?
Pop some tequila. Fine. But I just like, because I was like nervous and I don't really feel like putting myself out there. And you were like, no, come on. Like, it's good. Like, let's put ourselves out there. Who knows what we can meet? And it's almost like a bad date, right? Like, it's the same thing. Like, maybe you go and maybe you don't have the best time. Maybe it's like, oh God, see, I told you, blah, blah. And then you just like, don't do it again. But you wouldn't know. What if it was your soulmate? What if it was like your soul friendship? Like, you don't know until you go and try.
And
right?
look what happened.
And so we went and it was so much fun. And then, like now we're going to dinner with another couple from that night who I really like. And so it's just, it's like, you got to put yourself out there even when you don't want to. I mean, I like to be social, but sometimes like, I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like going. Like, it always kind of seems like a to-do. Like, oh, I got to get ready. And then you got to, especially when it's people you're not that close with yet. So you don't have that super relaxed feeling yet. So it is a little bit more work. And I'm like, I don't really know. And then you're always like pushing me to be like, come on, like we're doing it. And then I'm always so glad that we did. And then you leave and you feel a little bit closer. It gets a little easier.
I think that's what I've broken down is like, I go to the gym not because I want to. Mm-hmm. I go to the gym because of the feeling I get after. Mm-hmm. Right. And like, I know that my day is more productive when I go to the gym. I feel better. Yeah. I have more energy. But there are times that I go to the gym and I come home and I feel worse. And that doesn't mean I don't go to the gym anymore. It just means I had that wasn't a workout that I really connected with and I just wasn't feeling it.
Or you push yourself like a freaking beast.
Or I go too hard, right? And I think it's the same thing with friendships.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a potential that I feel like you and I are a good judge of character and we connect with people. And the couple that we're going to dinner with this week, like when we were sitting there at New Year's Eve, it was an instantaneous connection, right?
Yeah, like I just wanted to talk to them the whole time.
Energy,
I don't
want
to talk to anybody else.
But you tend to... Okay. That's really nice.
Well, it's kind of like how we were with Derek and Jessica when we met them in Greece. We were like on a group tour, you know, on a wine tour. And we were like so annoyed because the guide wouldn't shut the F up. But we're on like a group tour with other people. But I just wanted, it was like that kind of a connection. Like I just want to sit and talk to them.
I don't remember the faces of anybody else in that tour.
No clue.
No idea.
Could have cared less.
No,
yeah.
Exactly. Because we were so locked in.
We just wanted to talk to each other.
Right.
That's how I felt with this couple.
Right. And so that's what's really exciting, right? So you just know. So in my opinion, yeah, we could go to dinner. We could be like, like once we got to know them a little more, it wasn't really a thing. But I can tell you that I don't think that's going to happen. So it's an effort, it's work, and like we got to put the time in. But like I think it's worth building that when we come back to Denver, we have a solid friend group here.
Yeah, that we can build from.
Yeah.
Are you somebody, well, I already kind of know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. Are you somebody who has social anxiety?
What do you think?
So
you said you already knew the answer.
Yeah, you do. In certain situations, it's funny because you're the most outgoing, friendly, fun, talk to anybody. Like when I met you, I mean, you still are, but like life of the party, always wanting attention. Remember, we used to get in fights about it. I think you always want attention. You're not giving me attention. Oh my God. Like, how annoying am I?
But like, you said that you want the attention from other people and that I steal it all from you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was another thing. Because you were always like, you always had to be the center of attention. Like you always did. And that was something like we had to work on. Okay.
You're opening a can here.
Let's go. So, but just getting back to the point is that very social, very just like gregarious.
Whoa.
Yeah. You like that word?
Wow.
I don't know if I'm saying
I don't
it
even
right.
know what that means.
It means like,
yeah, what does it mean there? Dictionary.
Let me look it up.
No. You can't use a word that you don't.
No, because I do. It's like very like big personality, like bold, charismatic. Like, can I just look it up real quick?
Well, can I tell you what I think?
Gregarious. Hold on. Sociable. He was a popular and gregarious person. So
cool.
That doesn't. Okay, a gregarious person is someone who enjoys being with others, is sociable, and is often the center of attention at social events. They are usually talkative and enjoy having conversations with others. Okay, so I feel like that's you. But you also no, because my original answer was yes, I do feel like you have social anxiety. But even like when I'm thinking about even like the beginning of our Travis adventure trips, like you're always like leading, our, what's it called? Briefing, speaking in front of, I hate speaking in front of people. I can talk to anybody, but like I hate standing up in front of people and talking. So yeah, I think, but then you just shut down. But that's not social anxiety. You'll just be like, I'm done.
I have zero social anxiety.
Okay.
What I do have is
what is social anxiety? I'm sorry to interrupt, but like let's go back for a second, because is that just being nervous to be around other people? Because like I get nervous to go into situations where I don't know people, or I get really, really nervous, but then once I'm there, I'm totally okay.
So I don't think that that's social anxiety. I think social anxiety, in my definition of it, is somebody that is almost paralyzed from who they truly are due to social situations.
Like they're too nervous.
If you are different and like behind closed doors and you're not yourself in social situations, I feel like that is the definition of social anxiety. You don't know how to speak to people. You don't know how to start conversations.
Oh.
You get like short of breath. You don't want to be in public with other people.
Can I read this?
Good.
So this is the actual social anxiety disorder. For people, it's social anxiety disorder. Everyday social interactions cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Symptoms may include excess fear of situations in which one may be judged, worried about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending somebody.
I don't think you have social anxiety. You never worry about offending anybody.
Well, I have no filter, right, which is something I have to work on. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So what I was saying was like, I love like the introduction, like this is fun, we'll meet new people. But then what happens is I start to dive in and I start to realize that we don't really have anything in common, and that this isn't going anywhere. And I can usually tell that pretty quickly. And then I completely shut down. I have the effect of like, I don't know how to like fake it. Like it's on my shoulders. You can see it. And if I'm having a conversation and I'm just getting met with like, ugh, like, you can tell like we do not connect, then I'm like, there's no more effort needed, and that's it. So I'm still friendly, I'll still be nice. What do you need? I got you, like whatever. Or do you need another drink? Or it becomes more of a there to be supportive and friendly, but I will not put effort anymore into the conversation.
Which is funny because I'm getting a cramp in my right foot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting because you're really great to people you like, and then you'll just shut down, and which is fine in life. but I'm like the opposite.
You are.
So even when we're waiting for a group to arrive, I'm literally always like, I'm tooting, I'm farting, I have diarrhea, I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's the anticipation. I'm so nervous.
And I love that.
So nervous. And you're like, let's go. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Call them off.
Yeah.
Call them off.
Tell them it's canceled.
I know, which is so funny because I love people and I'm such a social person, but I get so nervous. But then as soon as I'm in it, something clicks in me and I'm just in it. And I think that's why I get drained socially too, because when I'm social, I give it my all. Like I am fully showing up. I am asking questions. I am curious. I am listening. I am on. I'm really present when I'm with people. Like I'm not on my phone. Like I'm just with people and I give it everything. And then I'm done. Where you will be like on when you want to be, but then you'll just be done because you know that I'm there.
Yeah.
You just leave it. Oh my God. You make me pick up all the scraps.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing.
Or not the scraps.
Is what happens. I'm there to break the ice in the beginning, and then you get to be tooting in the corner and then like come out and then you ease in whenever like it's like 5 minutes you're in. But as long as that initial ice is broken, the nerves, like, I mean, Bali stands out as because they come up this long driveway.
And they're all together.
And they're all together in the van. They get out. Everybody's just like, bam, like there, right? And I'm always like, let's go. Like, let's create this experience from the beginning. And then once we give the hugs and we do the introductions, like, you're great. You're fine. But here's a funny thing. When we go on like tours, just you and I traveling, and let's say it's a snorkel tour, I'm not going to get on the boat and just start talking to people. I actually am very quiet. You're the one that starts conversations, which is very bizarre. You're like, where are you guys from? Hi, like, we're Kim and Aaron. Like, you introduce yourself where I'm just like, God, I don't want to talk to these people. So it is funny because on Travis Adventures, we are in charge. We're the leaders of the group. I feel like the ice is already broken. A lot of these people are in our community already. They know of us. So it's like this whole thing where it seems easy to me. You thrust me into like a tour where I don't know anybody, and that's when the social anxiety comes out.
Okay. Yeah. I'll talk to anybody. The only time I don't is when I want to be social, I'm fucking social.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't want to be, I come across like so cold, but I want to give a signal that I'm not
to who?
Interested.
To me?
No, not to you. I just go on my fort and then you know. But like, for instance, when we fly, that's always the joke is like, I never want to be stuck next to somebody where I have to be talkative. Like, I don't just talk to talk. I'm not social in that way. Like, you know, there's just some people that just like, they just want to sit and chat. Like, you know, like
16-hour flight. Let's chat the whole way.
No. I'm social with a purpose, like, because I'm there to show up and whether it's a Travis trip or friends, like, we're going to dinner. I'm there to be social. So like, and then I'm going to leave and I'm going to I'm going to go to bed, right? I need to recharge. I get my social battery drains because I'm so on and then I'm off, right? So like, if I don't want to talk, which is the majority of the time, I make it very apparent that I want nothing to do with you. And like, I feel like it could come across very cold. Like, I'll have my earphones in, and even if somebody because you know, they'll test the waters. And if they like try, like, I'll like take my earphone out like aggressively and be like, I'm sorry, what? Like, then I'm not trying to be a bitch, but I'm just want to set a tone of like, I'm not your girl. You ain't going to get nothing from me. You know what I mean? So there's definitely situations where I'm just like, no.
Well, thank God that we have different batteries. Because can you imagine if we both just shut down like we do? Like how I can be like really cold and like standoffish and just like short. And if you reach your battery limit and then you start giving like weird signals to people, like shooting flares, like
that's usually just on planes, but yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Thank God that doesn't happen in real life, or else we'd be like really screwed. We'd be alone forever.
Well, I'm trying to think too. Yeah, like, okay, another example would be when I'm working at a cafe, right? Because I like to just like be alone and do my own thing and be social when I want and be alone when I want. And so when I'm working in a cafe, I'm alone and I just want to like do my thing. So you can tell when there's some people that are looking around for a chat, you know?
West Virginia.
God. And we all sat so close together. I loved that coffee shop, and I would go there every day after my Legree class. And it was like a lot of the same people, small town. And there would always be this one guy, and he always wanted to talk. And
Just searching for eye contact.
yes, so and I feel like I'm a pretty friendly person in general, but I'll go into this like very cold, like kind of standoff. I like to give a standoffish vibe because I just don't want you to start talking to me. Because like I want to have my coffee. I want to do the work that I'm here to do and just like be in my zone. I don't want to sit and talk about the weather with you for 30 minutes and then they'll move on to somebody else, you know? But I just like to make it clear that like, I'm not your girl to make a small talk.
Yeah. No.
I feel like we just went completely
I was just about to say,
course.
welcome to the Obsessed with podcast where we start off
I
with
don't even know
like
how we got here.
friends, and like friends is the thing we're lacking in 13 years, and then
Social
of travel.
anxiety.
So yeah. But I mean,
You
hey.
know, we've had people come on our trips that they say they have social anxiety. And honestly, I think all of us probably have a little bit of that.
100%.
Obviously, there's different depths of different things, but I
Totally.
think all of us feel vulnerable and nervous walking into a group of people, whether that's new friends that you're making or you're coming on a group trip or walking into like a new job. You feel nervous, you know?
I can't even imagine the nerves that people feel. I'm talking about, I get social anxiety going on a day snorkel trip. Like they're coming to a 14 to 15 day trip with all of these people that you ain't separating from.
All right.
And so there's a lot of social anxiety. And I think that just comes down to all the love and skill that we've put into it to make sure that the majority of the group is good, right? And that there's a like-mindedness and a connection. Because I can't imagine the social anxiety that these people have, and they come on these trips and kill it.
No, and that's why I always say, like, I'm so inspired by the people who come alone and don't know anybody. And I would love to think that if I was like single, that I would be that kind of a person. I like to think that because I am just like, you are a freaking badass, dude. Like, badass, inspiring, like how brave you are to get on a plane and come and walk into a group and you don't know people and you just show up, and I know you're nervous and like, but everybody is. And so we're all in the same boat, but I just feel like what a cool person what a cool person. I just think, it really, really inspires me a lot. And so anyways, I think with just making friends and stuff, you got to put yourself out there. Especially if you do feel nervous, right?
Yeah, and I don't think just because, I gotta say,
I feel like we're just going around.
What I was gonna say was, I just don't think because we've traveled for 13 years, we just have had the easy escape of like, we're just not gonna be here, so we don't put ourselves out there. But I do believe that if we really went hard and kind of like what Derek was saying about like, you got to go really hard for 3 months if you're going to be gone forever, right?
Yeah,
like,
but that wasn't the point.
No, I'm just saying.
The point was that the original question started with what is the void that's happened, or what was it in traveling for 13 years? What do you think was the thing that was missing or whatever? So yes, you could live somewhere for 3 months and you could go hard and you could like really build some friendships. But my answer to the question was that, but then you move again.
Right.
And then those friendships are harder to maintain, and then you move again. So again, you can have friends all over, which is so cool. But at the same time,
They lack depth.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of the thing. And what's the solution to that? To be honest, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if there's a solution. I think it's part of the lifestyle. And so you find your people and you make efforts. You go fly and spend the weekend with your friend in Arizona, or
Mhm.
you know, meet up. Like we were just talking with the Everest Base Camp group that we hiked with. And we're all like, okay, like we gotta have like a reunion. Like, let's all get together. Like we talked about going to the Cape or doing a Colorado trip or whatever, but it was like, you gotta make an effort of like, okay, like let's just pick a weekend and get together, you know? And so you just have to like put in that time and know you don't live in the same place, but you just continuously show up and make an effort to spend time together when you can.
Love it.
You know?
All right. Good
Should
way
we
to
pick a
end
card?
it. Yeah, let's do it.
I feel like, was that even helpful?
I don't know. I think
We're not sure.
Yeah. Well, let us know.
Let us know. And also DM us on Instagram at Kim and Aaron G. And let us know if you're a traveler, like, do you agree with this? Like, what are your thoughts on like building friendships when you're constantly moving? Or like, do you love that because you have friends in cities all over the place that you can just pop around to? Kind of like what your thoughts are on that as a traveler. Because I think there's definitely pros and cons. I mean, I would say like we've met so many people through traveling, and I wish that we could just build a little camp.
A commune.
Yeah. And like not live next to each other because like I need space. Like I don't want somebody popping over for like coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Like no, like we have our scheduled social time, but that we all live close enough that we can get together on Fridays and have like bonfires and do Sunday brunches and like go hiking and like be close enough to spend time together more often, but not next door.
Okay. That's good.
In Colorado.
I agree. You ready to draw a card?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to draw a card out of the Travcess deck, which these cards have come about from our Travcess trips, and then they've just grown over the years. Started off with like ripped up pieces of paper in a Travcess hat that we passed around, and now it's went to a phone, and then, you know, our friends added to it. And then now we've created a Travcess deck that, you know, are good to just ask questions and get deeper conversations going. So we're going to draw a card from that, and here we go. Ooh. Ready?
I can't with you right now, dude.
What talent do you really wish you had?
Oh. What talent do I really wish I had? Well, what just popped into my mind was dancing, obviously. But I'm trying to like think about it because that was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Okay, this is also coming from somebody that a couple podcasts ago said, don't make me dance.
I don't. Okay.
So what does a dancer do? They are told to dance.
There's a difference between being forced to dance, like where you feel forced to dance, versus just dancing because you want to, or even singing. Like, I don't want to be forced to sing. When people are like, sing.
Who tells you to do that?
I want to hear your voice.
Who says that to you?
Or like karaoke. Like, I want to do it because I want to do it. And I don't feel like people are like forcing me to do it, you know?
Has anyone ever forced you to sing karaoke?
No.
Right. It's a choice. You write down a song.
Okay, but you know when you're just like feeling it and you're like, let's do it. Okay, like when we were in Nepal, we were all just like singing together and like on the karaoke, and it was just like a fun like vibe, and we were all like feeling it, you know, and you're just like, I love this. Versus like they're like you're next, and you have to like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel the same. Like I like to organically just like, you know, share my talents.
Okay.
But what I love, one of my like visions has always been to like, you know, nobody thinks I can dance or anything. And then like we're at a party and then a song comes on and like the crowd like goes, and then like, and you're always part of this too, but we do some kind of like coordinated dance that people are like, oh my God, like they're amazing.
How often do you have these visions?
It used to be a lot more, but not as much now.
Wow.
But just like,
like a Ross and like Monica
the
routine.
But like you just know when like those people, whether it's like you didn't think, like people didn't know you could do this, and then you just like belt out like that, or singing.
Singing's mine.
Is it?
Yeah.
I figured.
Like singing and like rocking on the guitar, right? Like you're just like sitting back, and then you're in like, I don't know, Gilly T, and like, does anybody, you know how Rizal does that when he plays? He's like, does anybody want to come up and like sing? And you're like, yeah, play this song. And people are like, oh God. And then you sing and people are like, holy crap, right?
Yeah.
That's my thing. I wouldn't want to sing for a living, but like having that talent where people are like, dude, that was incredible. And knowing you could sing like any song and it was just amazing. Like that's what I wish
Oh my God. Well,
I could do.
Sing, I'll dance.
Okay.
And like,
are you sure you don't want to be a throat singer?
Well, no, that is a talent I already have. Like I am a throat singer, which if you don't know what that is, you literally sing from your throat exactly as it sounds.
Ventriloquism singing?
No. It's just
your mouth's moving.
Here, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
That was just from my throat.
So you're just humming. You're not actually saying words.
But no.
It's just tones?
It's just like harmony from the throat.
Okay.
That, not everybody can do that.
I know, and I do think it's funny because we've talked about this, and I think somebody found a throat singing group on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Okay.
Like when we just talk about like you find your people.
Yeah.
Like I found my people.
Okay.
Because people don't think it's a real thing, and it's a real thing, and not everybody can. I right now, go try to throat sing and tell me if you can.
Okay.
You're making me laugh, or it would be way better.
It's absolutely beautiful.
But like, did you hear that progression?
I did. It's really good.
People could hire me for weddings.
That's
so
what
instead of having like
a violinist, they'd have a throat singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that would be like hip, chic.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you charge?
A lot. A lot.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's very unique.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about the
when
person.
When did you realize you had this talent?
I've known for a long time.
Okay.
I just knew, like, I would always just like be listening to music and just like, like I always, because did you ever do when you were a kid the whole like, so that's where it started.
Okay.
I feel like most kids do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And then I started making different noises, and then I took out the lips and I just opened the throat. And that's when I knew I had something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, babe. I'm proud of you.
We'll sing to you anytime.
I think you can go somewhere with that.
Mimi loves that. I'll sing to her.
She's deaf.
No, she could feel the energy because it's very like
guttural.
Like not treble. What's the
trancy?
Like bass?
That's not bass.
It's the bass. You can feel the vibration. So like she'll just get under my neck and just nuzzle and like feel it.
When has that ever happened?
We have our moments.
Okay.
You don't know what happens.
The things that goes on. Yeah. Poor thing.
We just have our special mommy-daughter moments.
All right. Well, once again, you can see where the test cards lead to.
See?
Throat singing.
You could learn so many new things you wouldn't even know about your friends, your partner, your mommy, your daddy. Like,
wow. We got to get off.
Hold on. Can I just ask you one more question?
Okay.
How do you feel about like grown men and women calling their father daddy? Because I've heard that a lot lately. And I don't know why, but it like
I think it
triggers me.
I think it's a personal thing. I mean, obviously it feels childlike.
Yeah, childlike.
Right? Not like grown up. I feel like
I never called my dad daddy.
No.
Or my mom mommy. Mommy. Yeah, no, I think I probably said mommy.
I feel like it's more of a childlike state, but it's a preference, right? If people feel comfortable, it's just like what you call your grandparents, right?
Yeah,
Like-
but if you were like, okay, I'm gonna go call my mommy. Like, I don't know. It just like makes you feel a certain way.
No, I know. And it's just, I guess, like, it's also just a routine of what you've been used to, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know any different, but we've never said that. So that word sounds foreign to us.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm like,
I know
I
grown
feel like
people
there's
who do.
times that you outgrow certain things. Just like you don't run into a bunch of people that are like, hi, my name is Timmy, right? Whose real name
Yeah.
is Tim. It becomes Tim or Timothy or whatever, but
Yeah.
they're not Timmy anymore, right?
It's the
Timmy.
MY at the end.
Yeah, Timmy.
Or
Like,
Kimmy.
Kimmy. Well, we know
Well-
it. We know a Kimmy. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Or like, what's another one? Libby.
babe, it's not just because it has an MY on it.
Oh, I know.
So you're just trying to
It's a
come,
B.
you have to pee.
I
Okay.
said it's a B. Libby.
But there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't sound childlike.
I know. That's what I was saying.
Okay, can we cut this off? I think we've gone
Alright,
off
alright.
the wall.
So tell all your mommy and daddies you love them. And we will see you next week.
All right, bye,
Bye-bye.
mommy.
Daddy.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope that you really, really enjoyed it.
And if you did love this episode, can you please do us a huge favor and just share this with one of your friends? Like, just somebody that you think will get value from this episode. It would mean so much to us.
Yeah, like do it now. Like while you're inspired, go now.
Like right
Do
this
it.
second.
Yeah,
Go,
do
go,
it.
go, go, go. Or just like share it on your Instagram story and tag us at Kim and Aaron G so that we can see it and thank you personally for helping us share this message, share this episode, and blow this baby up.
Yeah, help spread the obsession.
Ooh.
You can do that.
Let's get obsessed.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful to be on this journey with you, and we will see you next week.
Bye.